let's do online scenario 11 then. On the scenario 11, Clash for the Crown. So let's take a look at the map here, Pools of Sorrow. So there it is, a huge map. My goodness, that'd probably take up my whole animating table. Really, that's pretty big. 4 levels. Okay, easy to understand the build. And it's cool that they're doing better with this building design here on these. We really need a new we need a new virtual scape type, map builder. Hopefully sometime down the line. Hopefully it's in the works, because that would help us a lot when it comes to building maps. Okay, required sets: Age of Annihilation Master Set, Battlefield Wellspring Battle Box, Lands of Valhalla Terrain Expansion, Grove at Lyra's Edge Terrain Expansion. There's a crap ton of a lot of terrain, basically. And here I got the lore part. This is a big part of the lore. Okay, here we go. More lore. Long before any wellspring granted him visions of distant worlds, Ukar's brutality and relentless drive for power, like we were already talking about earlier, earned him the respect and fear of many of the clan chieftains of Bleakwood and the Kyrian Mountains. There's the Kyrian Mountains again. First in the gladiatorial pits, which we've already talked about before in Wave 5. Then on the battlefield, the future Valkyrie proved just how he was willing to go to achieve power. However, not all were easily swayed, and there were some who sought to challenge him for the right to rule as Arch-Kyrie. As a demonstration of what it meant to defy his claim, Ukar sought to use one particularly irksome rival as an example. Ukar betrayed a vital dam used to control irrigation waters upstream of his rival's village. Ooh, that's nasty. The ensuing torrent destroyed the village, taking many lives with it, and ensuring none would dare challenge the great Ukar. Today, all that remains of that village are a few crumbling walls and a seasonal flow that nearly dries out in the warmer months, leaving only stagnant pools where once a community thrived. Wow, we thought Ukar was bad before, but this is like stealing like a lollipop from a baby from its crib type of bad. And then shooting the baby after. My goodness, that's awful. Fittingly enough, it is here that Revna's forces have chosen to spring their ambush on Ukar's central army to strike at the very heart of the mighty Valkyrie's domain. That's interesting. I like that bit of lore. Just like you get a little bit of backstory on Ukar. If you didn't hate him enough, well, now there you go. Now, okay, and then we got the map. So we got the start zones on the map here. Walls and glyphs there. Okay, and a little bit more lore. Revna's followers have ambushed Ukar's central army in the heart of Bleakwood, using their extensive network of tunnels through the Markheim to travel undetected. So this is probably why, this is probably the reason why Revna was tunneling underground. Because we were reading already backstory about that before, months before. And so this is why she's been tunneling. It was all in an effort to strike at Ukar. Very interesting when you find out the reasons of why they're doing things. The two sides clash in an epic battle, sending word through their communication and supply lines for additional reinforcements to hopefully turn the tide of battle in their side's favor. I know this would take a long time to make, but wouldn't you guys like to see this in a stop-motion animated form? I'm just saying. That would be cool. Goal: destroy all your pointed figures. Simple enough. Okay, so it's just simple. Destroy each other, which is interesting compared to like some of the other scenarios to where it's like you have to do specific things, but this one is just like it's all out war battle, and just get to it. I set up player one or team one starts in the navy starting zone. Player 2 or team 2 starts in the brown starting zone. So you can have a lot of people doing this. You can be in teams if you want. Players draft or bring pre-made armies based on point values listed below. Part of each army will be placed in their starting zone, and part will be held in reserve. Interesting. Up to 400 points per player may start on the battlefield. Up to additional 250 points per player may be held in reserve. 4 players. Okay, so that's 2 players. So you have opportunity for 2 players, 4 players, and 6 players. All right. I'm not going to read through all that, but that's the opportunity for it. And you got Shuffle, Glyphs of Dagmar, Feleron, Quillivan, and Yadurkia, and place them randomly. I probably butchered those. Place them randomly, symbol side up in locations indicated on the map. Kind of what I do for my skirmishes. That's cool. See your victory. The player or team with the most points worth of figures on the battlefield at the end of round 8, where the last player team with figures still left on the battlefield at any point during the game is the winner. Special rules. Initiative. To determine the initiative order in team games, each player roll 20-sided die as normal. The player with the highest roll goes first. Next, the player with the highest roll on the opposite team goes second. Okay, regardless of the rolls of the other players on the first team. Okay, interesting. Then the player with the second highest roll on the first team goes third. Turns alternate back and forth between teams in this way until all players have taken a turn. Okay, so that's an interesting way of doing it. Reinforcements at the start of round 4 in 2-player games at the start of round 3 and 4 in 6-player games. Prior to placing order markers, each player may place any of their figures that were held in reserve in either of the orange reinforcement zones or in their own starting zone. Teams roll the 20-sided die to determine what order they may place reinforcement figures, following the same rules as determining initiative. Figures are placed 1 army card's worth at a time. They may not be placed adjacent to any enemy figures. So there you go. That's just a fun a la epic battle, and it's like you can have like 400 to 250 to 700, 800. So we're talking a lot of armies. This is a fun night out, guys. This type of scenario, it's going to take time to get through, but what a lot of fun is this. Just bring everything and just hack out, and this is war. This is war when it comes to this. So really fun, really fun. So yeah, so round track, so 3 to 4 player reinforcements and then 2 player reinforcements. Okay, so you get reinforcements in 3 to 4 player, and if it's just 2 player, you do round 4. And okay, that makes sense to me. So very interesting. And I like how this particular battlefield, usually in these battlefields, you would have everything raised up in the center. But in this one, your start zones is the kind of the mountainous upper regions, and then you get down in the water with this battlefield when you're moving towards center. So that's a very interesting way of making a map, to where everything actually, you lower elevation, but at the same time you got your bushes and stuff, and line of sight blockers as well for these. So that's really interesting. All right, and let's see who said. Oh, we got in the chat here. Let's see here. I do hope Vixania. Okay, no. Vixania says, yeah, given pirates are renegades, we only. Yeah. Okay, Justin says, I believe the phrase "shadows of history" was used when Secrets of Citadel was teased. So I would not be surprised if INR's contemporary unit pool gets greatly increased in 2026. I hope so. That would be great. If we get more historical units, that would be kind of cool. Like pure historical units, Vixania says, I know Slugger really wants a new Uller warlord. I could see that being fun. Yeah. This map would be good for Order Borealis and Konkan, plus Konkan barrages. Yeah, actually, because you got some range, and I mean, you do have to be careful though, because those bushes will provide cover for those with range a little bit. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It'd be a fun one to hash out. I mean, like I said, you're working with like 400 to 800 points here of armies, so you could bring in a lot of units, the big guns, if you wanted to. So yeah, I find that fascinating. A lot more fun. Again, this is another one, the Pools of Sorrow, Scenario 11, Clash for the Crown. Another one I gotta put on the shelf and wait till my son's old enough to start. Like I said, this is a fun one to where you have friends over, and it's just it's an all-nighter basically, and it's a fun all-nighter. So yeah, again, kudos to Renegade for keeping it interesting with these scenarios.